Hey, my name is William Hemrick. Sorry for the poor sound quality and terrible lighting and, well, overall everything. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't know really why I'm making this. I'm just, trying to figure it out. And, I gotta get some feelings out, and this might be a way to do it. Also, I'll be randomly flipping my butterfly knife during this video because it makes me feel normal, somewhat. That's not really a normal thing people do, but hey, what the hell. Anyways, I'm 18 years old. I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, technically Town, but I'll say Winston because that's more well-known, I guess. And, yeah, I'm 18 years old. I'm a senior in high school, technically still. Homeschooled, yeah. That's fucking fantastic. It's great. And, yeah, anyways, about 2 weeks ago, and 2 days ago, actually, it was September 27th. My brother and father were hit by a drunk driver through no fault of my father. He was driving. The drunk driver was in their lane and hit them pretty much head on, but it was more on my dad's side, and it was, wow. The truck was just all torn up and just destroyed. Like the wheel under my dad, and on my dad's side, went completely under where he was. Like the wheel itself was completely under him, and that just, dude, it was like a bit. My dad was in a big Ford 350 Super Duty dually, and it's a huge truck, huge engine. It's just like friggin' massive. It's taken abuse over the years like crazy, and it just literally got destroyed by, I don't know what the drunk driver was driving. I think it was like a little Honda, just like a little sedan or something. But my brother was also in there. My brother walked away with just bruises, luckily. I'm glad for that. My dad, on the other hand, is still in the hospital. He had both of his legs and ankles and feet broken in multiple places. And I think his L1 disc fractured in his back. I think that's all that happened. So we thought it was worse with his back, but it wasn't. They reconstructed his left ankle this past Wednesday. I have no idea what date that was. Oh, that's almost a week ago, because today's Tuesday, October 13th, 2015. And yeah, so I'm just kind of recording this as like a video to my life, I guess. I don't know. Just gotta get these feelings out and talk about it. So, I mean, what it's really done to me is crazy. My dad ran our family business, which is an inflatable rental company. We rent out moon bounces and stuff, like big inflatable bouncy houses. Sounds like a fun job. It's fun for the people who rent them. It's not fun for us. It's terrible. It's a freaking hard work, manual labor. They started it when I was really young, when I was like 4 years old. And in some way, I've always helped out in the family business. When I was like 4 and 5 years old, we lay out these little tarps, and we use these little stakes to nail down the tarps to make sure they don't go anywhere. I was that guy. I was the nail guy. That's what I did. And we also had these cones. They're little orange cones that cover up tent yard stakes, like tent stakes. And after we tie down the inflatables, we throw the cones on the stakes. I was that guy too. So those were my two jobs when I was like 5 and 4. But by the age of 10, it got to the point where I could do pretty much everything. Pretty much anything that needed to be done during setup, I could do that. And about 14 years old I was able to do everything by myself, like literally everything. If I was able to drive, I would have been able to go set up inflatables by myself. By the time I hit 16, I was able to do that, and I did do that. I was able to drive, so I went and set up stuff by myself, but I really wanted to get out of the family business at around 16 and 17. So 16 and 17 were years that I didn't really work. as much. I worked a little bit, but not as much. If he absolutely needed me to, I would. But yeah, and 18 this past year has been super difficult. I started the year off. I had played football last year when I was 17. Played the whole season. I love football so much. It's just one. It's such a great sport for me to play. And then about halfway through basketball season, the homeschool coach for my county saw me at a homeless shelter we were at one night, my youth group and I, and he was like, "Yo, how big are you?" I'm 6'7", by the way. So he was like, "Oh my gosh," and it's rare for a high schooler to be that kind of tall, especially in a homeschool community. And so he saw me. He found out that I was homeschooled and that I could play. So he brought me on. They brought me on for half of a season, and pretty much I played somewhat. I practiced more than I played. I didn't really get any playing time because I don't really know the game that well. I don't know basketball at all, and so what that happened, and I had gotten a job right before I turned 18. It was a job at Food Lion as a cashier, and that was my first job experience out of the family business, and it was rough and interesting, and yeah. So anyways, I got that. So I was working at Food Lion, and he found me and he was like, "Yo, play half the season." So I was like, "All right." So I switched my hours around at Food Lion. I was working morning shifts and stuff like that. Oh wow, this is like going into my whole life and everything, but gotta get a whole background. And anyways, and I was just going to every game that I could, going to practices and stuff like that, and it was pretty great. It was good. I enjoyed getting to know the team. I really suck at basketball, despite my height. Probably because I just never really played it. I never got interested in the sport. It wasn't a type of sport for me. I wasn't even interested in football till I was 15. So yeah. And anyways, so I played that, and about 6 months into the Food Lion job, I quit. I had gotten a job a couple months before that working at the Escape Room, which is a live-action horror experience where I get to scare people for money, and it's the best job ever. I still have it. I'm still working around the family business and everything, but I love that job so much. My boss is fantastic. He's just like the best boss in the world, and it's just amazing for me. So I'm a scare actor there. I get to just, it's amazing. So I got that, and I really had started working for my dad some more after I quit, but it was like May, I think, when I quit. It may have been July, actually. Somewhere in July. Pretty sure it was July that I quit because I was waiting for 6 months to quit. I didn't want to, work for 4 months. That's stupid. If I put it on my resume, I worked 6 months as a cashier. I've got 6 months experience with that. And, anyways, yeah, so, basically I just kind of went through life and figured it out. I got a car, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, after that, come around to the fall, it was time to start football practice for this year. So in July, it started up in July, and I was playing football, getting ready to go, and it was amazing. I missed the field so much. It was crazy. And I, was just getting ready, and my dad and I went to this place opened up. It was D1 Sports Training in Winston, and he got me a 3-month membership, which was $625 for 3 months. It was expensive as crap. I would never pay that, but he did for some reason because he loves me, and I was really appreciative of that. I can't thank him enough because it really helped kind of push me to go to a gym type setting where I got some cardio and weightlifting in, because I was not going to let $625 go down the drain like I would a $30 membership at a gym. And it was fantastic. The 3 months I was there, I went for 2 months like pretty solidly. It was great. I just loved every minute of it. I love the weightlifting most of all. I love lifting. I'm not that great at it. I'm not a good heavy lifter, but that's because I really don't have that much growth. I don't eat right, don't have the time that I could really put into it, especially now. But yeah, and that started, and I was about right before our first game, our first football game. I was at D1 and I was shooting around, like shooting basketball and stuff, and I went up for a dunk, and I came down wrong on my foot and fractured my left fifth metatarsal. It was fantastic. So that took me out for the season, for the football season, which I had expected. I thought it was going to take me out for the whole season, but it took me out for about 3 games. And after that, I was back ready to go. All I needed to do was tape it up, and I was ready to play. It was the bone had actually healed. There was just the soreness from the muscle that continued to pursue and persist in the pain-wise area. And yeah, so I was back in for the season. I was back in practices, learning the playbooks all over again some more, and getting ready. And I was so close to my next game. I was so excited, and boom, drunk driver hits dad. And that day I kind of knew football career over. That ended my season completely, because my dad was our main source of income. He ran the family business. He provided pretty much everything, and yeah, he did a lot of work. And it's a very hard loss to my family. So my brother and I, my brother's 20 years old. He's the one who was in the wreck, walked away with bruises. He's good. So 20-year-old and an 18-year-old pick up where our 50-year-old father left off, figuring out how to do everything pretty much except for the business aspect, like the routing, the taking calls. Most of that lands on my mother, which she has a full-time job, and she's taking off time for that to run our business and everything. And she gets insurance to cover her from her job, and because she really needs it. She has a lot of medical issues as is, like fibromyalgia, which keeps her from a lot of stuff, and she's just in pain like all the time, which is not fun. And she gets even worse when she's super stressed, which the family business stresses her out like crazy. It has ever since we were little kids. And yeah, so me and my brother took it off, and we've just been struggling ever since. Like day in and day out, me and my brother are like trying to plan all this and get ready for weekends, because it's mostly a weekend job that we set up and stuff. Not a lot of people book inflatables on like Mondays and Tuesdays, understandably. So it's all been a struggle with that. And yeah, me and my brother picked it up, and now, basketball season is approaching. Practices have already started and everything like that. And pretty much this wreck has ended my basketball season too. There's no way I can do it, because the family business slows down around the 3rd week of November, and in December we get nothing, because nobody wants inflatables when it's super cold and snowing and stuff like that. So no business there. So me and my brother are going to have to go out and find jobs that can support our family, because we have no source of income during the winter. My dad used to do taxes during the winter to keep us afloat, and my mom still is going to be working her job, so my brother and I will have to go out and get full-time jobs and see what happens in the future, see how we handle the full-time jobs. And it's 4 months, 3 months, and we're going to be back into the business. People are going to be booking up again. and stuff like that. But I plan to go ahead and get a full-time job even before this happened. And one of my guys at the escape room, one of the buddies, one of my coworkers there, he says he might be able to get me a job as a car salesman. And I would really love to do that, because one of my dream right now is to become an actor. I really want to become an actor. I just really love theater and becoming another person entirely, taking on a persona of a different person, and it just kind of gives me an escape from my life, and I really like it, and it's one of my main passions, and I didn't really discover that for a while, but that's pretty much what I want to do. And being a car salesman would force me out of my introvert state, because I am a huge introvert. I hate talking to people. I hate being in big crowds and being around people in general. It drains me. And I'm not a very good people person. And I think it would force me out of my comfort zone and force me to be a people person and give me some type of improv experience, because I got to think on my feet when I'm talking to a customer. How do I sell this car to this person? And it's something that I'm willing to do. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there. So if I can get that, that'll be good, and hopefully I can support the family mostly off of that, making some money. And that's my goal right now, and hopefully in about 5 years, I'll be able to pursue my dream as an actor. I was hoping to pursue it sooner. If I were able to get the job, I'd want to take acting classes and stuff like that, and try to pursue a career in that field. And because I would not be able to go to school for it, there's no way. I just can't do school for it. There's no way I'd be able to make the money to support. Before the wreck happened, I was thinking there's no way I'm going to be able to make the money to support myself, let alone my entire family. Now it's supporting my entire family, my mother, my brother, my father, my sister, and her 2 children, all under one roof, except for my dad. He's in the hospital. He'll be in rehab here shortly, hopefully moved back in the home, but we have no idea what we're going to do, because he's basically wheelchair bound for a while, and possibly forever. So he can't even fit through his bathroom door because it's so small. With a wheelchair, there's no way he's going to be able to get in it. So our showers aren't built for people for wheelchairs. None of it's built for that. So if he gets moved back here, we have incredible amount of work to do. I don't know what we're going to do. It's flipped our lives completely upside down. And I'm trying to stay calm and be a rock, but right now I'm freaking out because, I think about it. We might have to move. Never want to do that. I have moved so many people in my life, as is, and I hate moving. I never want to move. I don't. There's so much crap here. Moving to a 1-level house that would be sustainable for my father or whatever would be freaking torture to move all this crap we have. It would take months on months on months of work to move everything we have, and I would hate it. It would not only take away time that I would have to have for my job, like, it would just destroy us completely. Me, mostly, because it's a lot of emotional stress on me. My brother, I'm not sure, he'd probably be the same way. And on top of that, if we ever had to sell this house, dude, me and my brother grew up, and my brother and I love weapons. That means a lot of holes in walls and broken everything. So selling this house, take a miracle. Just a friggin' miracle. It would be almost impossible, and I don't know. So yeah, and I'm just super stressed out as it is. I can't even think half the time. It's a lot of stress, and I hate to say it, but honestly, there was a point in my life where I struggled with a lot of suicidal thoughts. I went through depression. I felt like nobody even wanted me. And I kind of overcame that for a while. I went through a stage where I was self-harming, and it wasn't as intense as some people's. And I know that it wasn't like lines all up and down my arm. It was like 5 or 10 cuts, all in different places on my left forearm, never anywhere else. Cut my face a lot, a couple times. I've always wanted an eye scar on my left eye for some reason. Don't know why, so I tried that once. It hurt like a bitch. Showering with that thing, it was like fucking torture, and I never ever did it again. So, that was probably good. I didn't enjoy the pain that much, but the pain on my arm I loved the hell out of. Don't know why. It was good. It was like something, I felt something for once. And that's what I wanted, and I went through that point in my life, and I overcame it, but it is so stressful right now that I'm getting back to that point, and the suicidal thoughts are creeping back in. The self-harm is starting up again. I am surrounded by a lot of knives because I've amassed a collection of them, and it's hard not to look at a blade and it feel like it's calling your name. Like your skin is calling for a blade and your blade is calling your name. And it all points to wanting to cut and self-harm. And I know it's hard for people to understand because there's so many people who are trying to help me and support me at the moment. Like all my football team, like they corral me with support. And my basketball team, they help me out a lot. And family and just my friends, they try to help support me, but none of it's enough to take away the stress. And I feel like cutting is one of the ways. It releases something, So, there's that, and I don't know. I'm just always stressed out so much. I mean, this past week, it was a pretty hard weekend for me and my brother, handling all the business and all the work and stuff. More so on my brother. He does the most of it, but I'm pretty much second in command now. And, yeah, so I kind of just struggled with that. I was sick the entire weekend. Still sick, actually. Got sniffling noses and stuff like that. Started out with a sore throat, and it just kept going. I was like working, banging in tent stakes into the ground, and snot was just pooling out of my nose. It was like torture for me. I was like, ugh. It did not look professional at all. I was like, tissues were everywhere. It was terrible. It was a terrible week. I was tired. I got like 5 hours of sleep. The weekend before that, I pulled an all-nighter just so we could work one event, which was massive and stressful as crap. I was up for like 36 hours, I think, and it was, that was fun. But, yeah, so that was all great, fun times, and this weekend was a little easier, thankfully. But still super hard. And me and my brother handled it mostly. My sister helps a little bit too, not too much. But, yeah, and, so this weekend is coming up, and I'm still kind of fretting what's going to happen this weekend. I've got a lot of work to do. I work at the escape room on Thursday, and then Friday to Sunday, I'm going to be working with the family business, and then we have to get units dried out tomorrow because anytime a unit gets wet, we have to dry it out. Otherwise, the vinyl will mildew. So nobody wants to jump on stinky, mildewy vinyl. So we have to set them up, dry them out, clean them up, and that takes a lot of our day because the inflatables have to be up hours upon hours, especially during this cold. and we have to dry them out. Somebody has to be here to wash them normally and everything like that. It's always fun. So we kind of just, yeah, and we got to clean concessions like cotton candy and popcorn and snow cone. Got to clean up those, get everything ready. Super stressful. And a lot of my dad did a lot of that. He worked pretty much all day, every day, doing something throughout the week. The weekend, he was getting everything prepared on the week before the weekend. Like after Sunday's events, he would wake up Monday. He would do the paperwork downstairs, the payroll. He would get all the machines cleaned. He would keep everything up and tidy. And it wasn't till he really was gone that we realized how much he did. And it's really hard. And yeah. And it's just been really emotional on me because my father wasn't the greatest man when I was growing up. He yelled at me a lot. He wasn't really a father. He was more like a boss, which he was basically. And he treated me like an employee, not his child. I never felt love from him. And I lost a lot of respect for him growing up early on. He didn't instill much in me other than yelling and being an asshole. It's pretty much how I viewed it. And yeah. So, but around 15, I'd say, I went through my rebel stage. 15 or 16, I went through my rebel stage. I was a fucking mess of hormones. God, all the time. And I didn't really care about anyone in my family at that point. My mom pissed me off all the time. My dad was pissing me off. My brother was pissing me off. My sister was out of the house at that point, and I was so thankful for that. And I just wanted to be with my friends because they were everything to me. And they were the people who actually made me feel loved. But one day, my mom and I, we blew up on each other. I just couldn't handle it anymore. She couldn't handle me being this basically empty thing where if you talk to it, it doesn't talk back. I kind of was emotionless. This was during my, stressful state, cutting state, everything like that, depression. And we had a falling out, and we just kind of stopped talking for a while. God, me and my mom just barely even talked during this period. We just didn't talk at all. And one day I came home and my dad tried to talk to me. I don't know where I was or how it led to this, but my dad was talking to me, and I broke down, yelling at him, telling him that I don't feel loved in this house, that he was a piece of shit excuse for a father who I had no respect for whatsoever, and that my friends were the only people that made me feel like I even had a place to be on this earth. And that's why I spent so much time with them. Pretty much any day I could be with them, I would be with them. And from that day on, my father kind of changed. He changed so much, and he became the father that I always wanted. He became the dad and the man that I want to be when I grow up. He cared for me, he loved me, and it meant a lot. That changed to me. It meant a hell of a lot to me. And my respect for him started to go back. I got some back for him, and it was all going good, I was growing up. I was 18 years old, growing up. I got a job. I was looking into my future. I bought my own car. I kept my own expenses up. I got in debt because I had to borrow a lot of money from my dad. and to fix my car and everything, because I spent every penny I had on that car. And when it broke down, I had to borrow money from him to fix it, and I got up to about $900 in debt with my dad over insurance and car bill, the phone bill, and everything like that. And I paid it all off, thankfully. Working with my dad, I got back into the family business after I quit Food Lion, and I paid it all off within a couple of months, and I was a fully functioning adult, still living with my parents, of course, so a lot of expenses are paid for. But I was learning how to manage my money and everything, and stuff like that. I was growing up. I stopped being a kid and relying on my parents for absolutely everything. And my father was actually teaching me how to be a man. For once in my life, my father was being my father, and I have the utmost respect for that. So it's been really hard emotional time taking this hit. Him physically, literally taking a hit from a drunk driver, and so much stress, man. And I feel so lost. I don't know where the hell I'm going. It's freaking crazy, because I know that I have to stay here, help my family. I can't leave them. I can't kill myself and leave them. Where does that put them at? But every day I wake up and I just want to kill myself to escape all this bullshit. It's the truth. I just can't handle it anymore, honestly. I just absolutely cannot handle it. But I know that I have to. I don't want to step up. I'm a fucking kid. I'm 18 years old. I should be doing dumb shit and trying to figure my fucking life out. But I'm thrown into a position, my brother and I both, thrown into this position where we don't get to be kids anymore. We have to grow up. We have to be adults. We have to take care of our family. We have to be the providers. We have to be our father, basically. And it's fucking scary. I'm not equipped to handle it. I'm really not. So, yeah. And I guess I'll figure it out in the future, maybe. I don't really know. It's a hell of a lot of stress, that's for sure. I'm kind of at this point where I'm just rambling on. I'm not really talking about anything with a point now. I guess I'm at that area. But yeah, so this isn't a pity party, I guess. Sort of is. I don't know. I don't really know what this is. Probably not going to share this anywhere. Might. Who knows? Definitely not going to be edited, because I don't have any video editing skills. But yeah, and it's just hard, because my mom and I were talking tonight about what is going to happen. The drunk driver's insurance is going to be wiggling out of every dollar they can pay, but we need that money. We need it so bad. Money doesn't solve everything, but when my father's hospital bills are going to be close to $1 million for everything, for literally everything, and this is not like, this is like now hospital bills. 10 years down the road, he's going to have more surgeries and more problems, and it's going to be fucking terrible. It's going to be more bills down the road. And just right now, it's going to be close to $1 million. Not to mention the loss of income, the stress, the pain and suffering, and just all of it. And it's terrifying. And we need this money. For once, I want this insurance. I just want these insurance companies to think about the people that they're having to deal with right now. Because if they somehow wiggle out and we don't get enough to even pay my father's hospital bills, that's it for me. I don't get to follow my dreams. I don't get to go try to be an actor. I will be working the rest of my life to pay for a drunk driver's mistake. I will be working the rest of my life to support my family, to support my father, who is most likely going to be wheelchair bound for the rest of his life. He will never work a day in his life again. We are literally fighting for his chance to walk at this moment. Like, if he ever walks again, it's going to be a miracle. And we don't know what we're going to do if we don't get the money. Me and my brother will literally work our entire lives paying off those bills. And if I ever even get to have kids, there's a good chance that they could be working to pay off our bills. Because an insurance company can't give us the money that we need. That's what's going to happen if we don't get the money. And it stresses me out every day that I think about it. And I push it to the back of my brain all day, every day. Just like, let's focus on now. Let's focus on the present. But it's hard because it's always back there and it's nagging at you. You're just like, you're going to be fucked if you don't get this. Prepare to lose everything you dream about. Prepare to lose any hope of a normal life ever. And just be prepared to work as hard as you fucking can for the rest of your life, which is already hard because I have back problems already starting, like signs of that showing, because starting in the family business at a young age, I didn't know anything, and we used to have these 50-pound sandbags when we would go indoors. All right, and I would lift them with my back, not with my legs. So I would basically do like a Roman deadlift and lift with my back, and I wouldn't keep it straight, and it caused a lot of lower back issues with me, and it's starting to spread up to my upper back, and it's hurting every time that I work. I've got foot problems now with my hurt foot. That still hurts. I've got knee problems, which could be an athlete thing, I guess. And it's a lot of problems on me. So I'm going to be working through that pain my entire life if we don't get that insurance money, if we don't get some insurance money to pay everything. And that terrifies me because, I think about, what if I literally collapse? What if my back gives out when I'm 25 years old after working this manual labor since I was 8? What happens? My family loses more of their income. We're not able to pay off our father's hospital bills. We foreclose our home. We lose everything we own. We go into bankruptcy, lose our house, become homeless. I don't know. I don't know how all of these things work, but all because of one man. No, 2 men, because the drunk driver had a brother who is currently missing. We don't know where he is. He survived the accident. The drunk driver did not. And I'm sorry about that. I really am. To his family, I know losing a loved one like that must have been hard. And it kind of registers with me that I almost lost my father that night. Almost. But all because of his and his brother's actions to get in a car completely drunk and drive the road, drive on it in the other lane, all because of their actions. My father's life, my brother's life, my sister's life, my mother's life, my father's parents' life, my life is changed forever. Forever. And it's hard to cope with that. And it's super stressful, and I've been going through daily life like everything is fine. But it's not. No, it's really not. Not everything is fine, man. And it all comes back to suicide. Part of me thinks, actually, that, maybe they'll make it through if I were to kill myself one day. They'd get the insurance money and they wouldn't need me. I've thought about it. Thought about it a lot, actually. And, yeah. So, that's my life right now. Just a big fucking mess. I do feel better after talking. It's kind of nice. Kind of like my own therapist, which is funny. I through the suicide area, I had asked my mom to find me a therapist because I felt like I needed someone to talk to, and I couldn't handle getting on a phone and searching for a therapist myself. I could not handle it. I would have literally gone insane. I don't know why, but I would not have been able to handle it, and I know I wouldn't have been. So I asked my mom to do it for me. She never did. She told me to do it myself without realizing that I couldn't for some reason. I know it's hard to understand why I couldn't, but I just couldn't. And I needed someone to talk to so bad. I don't know. I couldn't talk to my family, couldn't talk to my best friends. Like, do you know how bad it is to not be able to talk to your best friends because you feel like you're going to be judged if you say, oh, I've been having suicidal thoughts? All I'm going to get is some bull crap with people like, oh, life is worth it. You have so much to live for, so much potential. It's okay. We love you. We're here for you. Well, guess what? Being here for me isn't doing much. And, so I never got that therapist, and I'm still dealing with the struggles of it. Pushing it down. Somehow I pushed through that depressed state. I don't know how. I don't know what I channeled into it. I really don't. Probably because I got out of a bad relationship. Like, oh my God. That was a depressing time in my life right there. Ugh. But, yeah. So, who knows? If I post this on YouTube or something, I'm thinking about YouTube on my channel that no one ever watches. Who knows? If I were to post this, and I just imagine the best of it, look, get 100 views, maybe. You may never hear from me again because I might be dead. Who knows? Doubt it though. I'm pretty much a coward. I'm a coward. I don't want to face up to hard work. I don't want to face up to anything. So I don't think I'd pull the trigger. Which I wouldn't pull the trigger because I love guns and I'm not putting that rep on guns. I would kill myself with something like I don't know. What would I kill myself with? It's a hard decision. I'd want to do something. I don't know. Probably crash my car. I think that's how I'd go. If I decided to kill myself, I would get my car up to like 200 miles an hour and crash into some bridge or something. That's about it. Drive off a bridge. That's what I'd probably do. Because it wouldn't cause any harm to anybody else. And worst thing, it destroys the bridge a little bit. And our government has to pay some people to fix it. What to do? People get more job. Cool. That's probably how I'd go. Yeah, so there's that. I guess 45 minutes is long enough of me talking and ranting and complaining about my life, so goodbye. Thank you for listening.